So we have Bitcoin hitting its really first major resistance here at the previous all-time high. Altcoin market, total 3, also at its most significant resistance at about 700 billion. As we continue to expect the biggest blow off top in crypto history before the biggest dot-com bubble 2.0 for the crypto market over the next 6 months. All right, so let's not waste any time. Let's get into it today, guys. We're going to talk a lot about Bitcoin being at resistance, the altcoin market minus ETH and stablecoins being at kind of the doors to that are going to lead to this bigger explosion for the altcoin market up to the 2.618 Fibonacci level, as we continue to discuss our bigger theory of basically this bigger rising wedge on the total market cap chart, which I do believe is going to play out over the next 6 months. We're also going to take a look at the stablecoin dominance chart and just continue to reiterate why we believe this market's going higher, and even look at a little bit of a short-term thing today that maybe could lead to a little bit more of a pullback for Bitcoin and altcoins before we get that next leg to the upside. All right, so let's get into it. Smack the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Only 25% of you guys have subscribed. Let's keep killing it, man. All right, it's not been your boy Jordan Cameron. It is your boy Jordan Cameron. All right, so let's jump on into the video. All right, so we're not going to beat a dead horse here. Obviously, we know Bitcoin bounced off the 50 moving average band, just like it did down here in 2023, just like it did down here in 2024. And we saw in 2025, once again, the 50 moving average band marked the lows for Bitcoin before its next impulse to new all-time highs. We did indeed see Bitcoin hit new all-time highs. So that is a check mark. And I do believe that Bitcoin is going to higher prices, albeit this may be the point where we might see a minor pullback before we get into new all-time high prices. Okay, why do we also think this? Okay, before we jump on into our bigger theory here. Well, we also have the total 3 chart, which also is at its 2021 resistance levels, which I believe this red box here between about 700 billion and 750 billion is going to be the door. And when we see that get above there is going to be the official signal that altcoins are ready to explode up to the upside with Bitcoin, as a lot of them have been lagging at this point. But I do believe they will catch up to Bitcoin. But this red box that you can see has been resistance over the last 3 weeks. And we'll discuss it further in this video, why this red box is so important based on historical precedents. But once it gets above that red box, that's going to be the ticket for, like I said, the altcoin market also reaching the top of its rising wedge and getting close to that 2618 Fibonacci level. So before we talk about all that stuff, excuse me, let's get into, once again, our theory here for anyone who's new to the channel is what we're expecting here on the channel. And it's not just anything new. We haven't been saying this since the market's been moving up. We've been saying that since since Bitcoin's been all the way down to here at 74K, since all the Terra drama went on, since total market cap was at the 50 moving average band all the way down here. We've been, barely discussing how the sentiment and the charts, and we're going to go over them today, once again, are pointing to the biggest blow off top in crypto history, which is going to suck everyone in, which is going to get everyone really, really excited and get everyone sort of frantic in this market, and going to be a lot of fun times in the market. But what comes after that is what I like to call the crypto calm bubble, I guess you could call it, which is the biggest crash in crypto history before we go on into the real bull run later on in this decade, where only the strong coins survive, and only the coins that actually survive with some type of use case actually go on a bull run later on in this decade. Okay. What coins those are, it doesn't really matter now. We're going to take this step by step. And obviously the step we're on right now is looking for this total market cap to sort of crash to the upside, all right, up to the 4236 Fibonacci or the 10 trillion point, which obviously is going to be led by Bitcoin. And obviously the first step here was getting Bitcoin to bounce off that 50 moving average band, getting Bitcoin into new all-time highs. We did have Bitcoin hit a top of 112,000 so far. And I do believe albeit, and we'll take a look at why we could continue to see maybe a slight pullback over the next few days. For me, I don't really care about that. I'm not, changing any of my positions on the fact that I expect Bitcoin to get a short-term pullback. But I do expect Bitcoin to go up to higher prices despite maybe a short-term pullback here. We'll discuss that going forward. But the base case thesis is Bitcoin continuing to move up higher. And that's all led by two things, really. The stablecoin dominance chart, which has been in this massive range over the last 3 years, where we see range highs to range lows, to range highs to range lows, to range highs to range lows. Now, the crypto market is inversely correlated to the stablecoin dominance chart. We did just hit the top of the box up here in April, and we were discussing on the channel how that's probably going to be resistance, which means that's going to be support for the crypto market. And we're expecting this chart to move back down at least to the bottom of the range, if not make a new low, before getting a bigger impulse to the upside. And if you know anything about Wyckoff accumulation, this would basically be the Wyckoff accumulation schematic, where you get 3 hits to lows in a giant range, a breakdown of the range, where typically in a normal asset, this would be everyone getting super, super fearful before going on a rally. But in the crypto market, this would be getting everyone super, super euphoric, a la this move up to the 4236 Fibonacci or 10 trillion point, before you get this move, which would be getting everyone super, super fearful on this move to the downside. Okay, basically the inverse correlation of the USDT dominance chart. Okay, now, why could we maybe get a little bit of a short-term pullback here? And why do I not think you should be scared of a short-term pullback? Well, the way I'm looking at it right now is if we actually just quickly zoom in on the stablecoin dominance chart, you guys can see we're just in a downtrend on stablecoin dominance. On why I think we could pull back a little bit more is actually this little consolidation on stablecoin dominance. Once again, we know that it's inversely correlated. I do think it's going to go a little bit higher here, which means that crypto could pull back a little bit more. The reason why I say that is this current consolidation, right, has been behaving almost exactly like this consolidation that we just had right here, which this was a pullback on Bitcoin and crypto. Basically, that was, if we can zoom in a little bit on Bitcoin, that was this pullback right here. Why we could pull back a little bit more, per se, right? If we just put this back for Bitcoin, we go back to USDC dominance, right? A little bit of a short-term thing. Once again, I'm zoomed out. I don't really care, but for all you guys that may get a little bit scared, you guys can see that we're kind of doing the same price action on the stablecoin dominance chart that we did up from a little bit higher. But my point of showing this is not to scare you guys, but to actually do the opposite and not be scared, right? So if we look at this, what we're expecting probably is stablecoin dominance to continue up a little bit, take out these highs, which would probably mean that we're going to get Bitcoin to pull back a little bit more, altcoins to pull back a little bit more. But ultimately what it will lead to, though this goes up a little bit, is another move down on stablecoin dominance. Okay, which would basically then lead to another move up on Bitcoin and another move up on the altcoin market. Okay, but we could see a little bit more downside on cryptos before that happens. Not guaranteed, which is why I don't really care personally, but for everyone, I'm only showing you this because it's better if you expect a pullback, and if it happens, right? Versus thinking you're going to go up only, it happens, and you're like, well, I thought we were going to go up only, right? Now, we expect that because then we zoom out on the daily chart on stablecoin dominance. We're expecting this to go back down to the bottom of the range, guys. It's a range, right? So though this maybe get a slight move up again, right? We're ultimately thinking this is going all the way back down here in the higher time frames, right? So that's why we continue to remain bullish and looking for Bitcoin to eventually make new highs again, though it may pull back. I don't really care about the levels, right? And another little confluence of that is if we actually look at the altcoin chart, which once again, this is our giant rising wedge on the altcoin chart, where we have 3 touches on the top and we have 4 touches on the bottom, confirming a giant macro rising wedge. And obviously what we're expecting is, obviously, if we're expecting total market cap to get the biggest blow off top, where everyone's going to think crypto will change the world up here, then we're also going to expect the altcoin market, and this is the new total 3 chart that they have over here on TradingView, crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, ETH, and stablecoins. We're obviously going to expect this to get back up to the top of its rising wedge, close to the 2618 Fibonacci level, just like it did in the previous bull market, where it topped a little bit above the 2618 Fibonacci level, right there at about 750 billion. We're currently at 667 billion, still below the previous all-time highs. We're obviously expecting this to get a massive blow off top as well, catching everyone by surprise and getting everyone sucked into the market before this ultimately breaks to the downside. But why we could expect a little bit of pullback here, once again, not guaranteed. I'm not going to bet the farm on this and go short. higher time frame. I still think the market's going higher. But if we just look at this total 3 chart, you guys can see that the total 3 current resistance here at about 700 to 750 billion is basically this previous May 2021 high and this November 2021 high, and also the breakdown level right here in March of this year. Okay, so major level there. You guys can see that we're already getting a little bit of a reaction here on the weekly chart. So could we continue to consolidate down for the altcoin market? Yes, but really, what's going to be the signal? Just like we had our signal on the altcoin or on stablecoin dominance right here back in April. Once this broke down, we were expecting a blast off on Bitcoin. The signal for the altcoin market, which I do believe that we kind of already had, which is when we kind of broke out from this resistance, just like when we broke out from this resistance, and just like we broke out from this resistance, right? Those were kind of the signals of a breakout, right? A breakout or breakout retest. But really what we're going to watch here is getting above this red box, I think is going to be the real signal that once you get above those previous 2021 highs, we already did here and we failed. But if you get back above those, I think that's going to be the straight shot to that Fibonacci level at $2.618 trillion. Okay, so total 3 at major resistance, Bitcoin at all-time high resistance. Could we see a small pullback here? Yes, guys, but I'm making this video today to remind you, a small pullback, do not let that change your thesis, okay? Our thesis continues to be Bitcoin's going higher until what? We remain bulls on this channel until what? Bitcoin breaks below the 50 moving average bands on a weekly close. It has not done that in this bull market, so we continue to remain bulls on the Bitcoin chart, okay? Or how else do we get bearish, right? We hit extreme greed while also the Coinbase app on the App Store, okay, gets up into that top 10, okay? And you guys can see right now, the Coinbase app is at 307 as of 2 days ago, okay? 307. So no one's really interested in the crypto market right now. Though we did hit pretty close to extreme greed, we're not seeing new participants come into the market, okay? So I want to see a combined Coinbase app surging to the upside close to that top 10, combined with extreme greed in the fear and greed index, or downside invalidation, a break of the 50 moving average band on the weekly. Until then, we continue to remain bullish and we continue to look forward to our blow off top here over the next 6 months and a small pullback. Once again, I'm saying this before it happens, and if it does happen, maybe this is already the pullback we're seeing right now, right? Maybe this is all we get for a pullback. But if we continue to pull back a little bit more on the stablecoin dominance chart that we just showed on the fractal, do not be afraid, okay? It is okay to see pullbacks, all right? And we're saying that to continue to remain in good standing, continue to remain on the right side of the market, which right now is on the bullish side. Although short term, really anything can happen, right? So that's kind of where we stand, guys. And just to kind of remind you, as we kind of go along here, and the deeper we get into this thesis playing out, the higher we get on this total market cap chart, the more bearish I will become on this channel, right? I was a screaming, raging bull down here at the lows, okay? But the higher this chart gets, I'm going to be a screaming, raging bear. Especially when this chart starts getting into new all-time highs and you start seeing the Coinbase app absolutely exploding. You start seeing your cousin, your grandma, and everyone saying that crypto will change the world. Why didn't you tell me about crypto sooner? I should have got in crypto earlier at the Thanksgiving dinner this year. Okay, I will become more of a bear. All right, and that's not going to be the popular thesis when that happens. I'm telling you right now. But I think we have a lot of room to run here. And like I said, I do think the next 6 months are going to be very, very, very fun in this market. If you've kind of weathered the storm and if you've been accumulating stuff, over the last couple of years, I think it's going to be a very, very fun time in this market. Once again, Bitcoin's daddy. Bitcoin will lead the way. But I do think in order to get to that total market cap, price of a market cap of 10 trillion, we're also going to see this altcoin market run and start to get into price discovery as well, as we have not had the altcoin market get into price discovery yet. And in fact, it is at its biggest resistance on the chart right now. So all eyes on Total 3 ES, the new crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, ETH, and stablecoins over here on TradingView. All eyes on this chart. All eyes on Bitcoin at its all-time high resistance. We are projecting maybe a short-term pullback. We don't care, okay? If anything, we kind of look forward to what comes after that, and we let everyone else squirm and turn into little worms over here on the YouTubes after the small little pullback that we could get. And us kind of projecting that right now saves us any type of headache. When it does come, we're not scrambling and thinking, oh my God, I thought we were going to go up only. We never really go up only, right? We never really go up only. So, all right, guys, that's today's video. Just a quick update. Our thesis continues to play out. We've really seen Bitcoin have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight green weekly candles. We're due for a red one at some point. But at the end of the day, we've seen this in the past. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weekly candles there. But anyways, that's been your boy Jordan Cameron. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Our thesis continues to play out of the biggest blow off top in crypto history before the crypto.com bubble, as I will name it when it does happen eventually. Okay? It's been your boy Jordan Cameron. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, man. We're getting so close to 100K, man. 87K today. I think we can do it. Let's freaking go. Catch you guys in the next video. It's been real. Peace.